Welcome back to the Dark Reading News Desk at Black Hat USA 2025. I'm Terry Sweeney, contributing editor with Dark Reading, and joining us again on the stage is Vlad Galabov, Senior Director, Enterprise Infrastructure Research at Omdia Cybersecurity. Vlad, welcome back.
Hi, it's nice to see you again.
We are talking about your annual survey of cybersecurity decision makers and some of the interesting data that's emerging from there. Tell us a bit about the survey itself. It's an annual survey apparently, but sample size and even some of the intent behind it would be really helpful.
Sure. So it's very special. We've done it every year. To be honest, it's one of the big perks that our clients have. We sometimes don't share everything that we do as researchers, but I really believe in this open policy. Let's share what we have because we can learn from the feedback of the industry. So this is a study of 1,000 professionals, pretty good sample distribution in terms of, the global spread. About 40 to 50% is always in North America. But actually, most of that's how much of IT gets shipped to North America, funnily enough. So to be honest, it's representative of the world. We are looking for cybersecurity professionals. We're looking for primary decision makers. So we do a lot of kind of filtering to make sure that, we talk to the right people. And it's very fun. We use the results a lot. And we always like to compare how things look year on year as well. So very interesting endeavor.
And you added a new topic this year for your survey, if I understand correctly.
Yes. So going into the survey prep, every time we start to think about, is there something that we should, be worried about, something we should be missing? A few of the feedback that clients gave us indicated to us that maybe there is a misconception in organizations that their employees are not using AI in a shadow AI statement, right? In a way where, it is not, fully compliant with the policy. But actually, what was very encouraging to see is that, in fact, people do believe that they are using AI applications. So I think there was a almost, very large share. It will never be all the, respondents, but a very large share said, absolutely, we use it. And yes, we have deployed new policies and new security
and what's the upshot
features.
of those policies in general?
Big focus on data security. And, I can see this reflected in Omdia. That was a top concern. And it makes sense, especially if you use a cloud-based AI solution, like a SaaS-based solution like ChatGPT. The risk of exposing your data and, putting it out there, data is the new oil, as we say, and it is true. It's your competitive advantage. So that was the single biggest concern. And we asked that question about what's your single biggest concern with AI in several ways to see if the answer is the same. And data security always came on top.
Well, it's not well understood, is it? I mean, that basically these LLMs are consuming this data just as quickly as users will input it or give them access to it.
Absolutely. If you put your proprietary data, especially on some of the free AI LLMs, you're actually kind of allowing the model to be trained on the data. That is your decision. So I think you have to be very careful. At Omdia, we decided to deploy a pre-trained model, but actually running on our own infrastructure, our data being in our own private space. But actually, that ended up being very helpful. We now ask it to cross-check things for us, like, hey, is this thing that I've written compliant with our policies for something random? Very, very helpful. Not just asking it questions about the world or to summarize a document, but really just asking, hey, is what I'm doing like the right thing to do? Absolutely great use case, love it.
That's like asking the tire salesman if you need new tires. But
that is true.
Okay. Well, a piece related to AI is another question on your survey, which queries about issues that most often affect security functions within an organization. And I think your findings were that more than half said that supporting transforming projects, including AI, my guess is almost exclusively AI, but maybe not. What did you make of that finding?
So honestly, as we were writing the questions, there are certain things that you're hoping your intuition is right. And I think, we have seen in our organization and we've heard from all of our clients that, insider threats, ransom attacks. We've seen the stats, right? We know that they're really big problems. So they did come still pretty high. Staffing came pretty high. But the top one for the first time came, supporting transformational projects, including AI. And to me, it really came on top because people understand that it's now the priority at the board level to figure out how you can create some level of improvement in the company through this new technology, be that in productivity, be that in creating something new. So it was very interesting that this right now is the top priority for CISO. How do I enable this? So that was very good. But again, not surprising, some of the traditional issues continue to persist.
All right. Let's switch gears and talk a little bit about what you found out with regard to budget growth, which was pretty slight, as it turns out. I think the figures that I saw quoted were budgets growing at a rate between 1 to 15%, which, given the state of the current threat landscape, is, I guess, a little surprising.
That worries me a lot.
Say more about that.
Yeah, so we try to kind of segment budgets in like two buckets: moderate and like much better than moderate, like significant. So we call moderate 1 to 15% and significant over 15%, which is pretty normal, kind of pretty standard in the industry. I'm very worried about the fact that companies like Meta, Tesla, the global, for example, spend on infrastructure for AI is growing at like very high double-digit rate. To not have cybersecurity budgets increase at that pace, that is very concerning to me, because it really indicates that we need to really catch up. And earlier, you and I were talking about, how what should the industry do? My advice is go fast. You have to go fast. And, it's the same with cybersecurity budgets. I think that in many organizations, they're thinking of AI and cybersecurity in two silos. That's what this tells me, because I'm very certain that if I survey other members of this organization, like, the chief marketing officer, or the chief sales officer, or the chief operations officer, not the chief security officer, they'll say, oh, our biggest priority, invest in AI. Right, but you need to always match that with cybersecurity budgets, in my opinion, because you're actually creating competitive advantage in the cyberspace. So of course you want to secure it.
So go fast, but don't forget to check the brakes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And just do it in a safe way. That's really what I mean. So if you're going to go fast on AI, go fast on AI while going fast on cyber so that you are safe. To me, that should be obvious. So I'm a little bit concerned about this. I'm hoping that when we do this again next year, we see that people are now significantly increasing their budgets.
All right. Vlad, take us out with some discussion about the most common threats that seem to worry these cybersecurity decision makers so much. I think you highlighted insider threats, the need to continuously train employees, ransomware attacks, and staff shortages. Those are pain points for just about every cybersecurity department and executive. What did you make of those findings?
I think with the insider threats and the ransomware attacks, these are actually two areas where we do see that AI could exacerbate those problems, right? Because we could see, much more convincing phishing, for example, for insider threats. We can see significantly better organized ransomware attacks. I think that, I hope people understand that staffing and AI are related. I think that people think that AI will potentially solve the staffing shortages, but in reality, what we'll end up seeing is the need for different skills. So I think they'll actually persist probably in the long term. So it's interesting to me that all the top threats are probably going to persist or get worse because we are adopting AI. So we really, it's still down to the fundamentals, and we need to keep an eye on them.
Well, some great snapshots from around the globe about the state of cybersecurity budgets and, of course, the risk factors associated with all of the above. Thanks so much for joining us on the Dark Reading News Desk.
Thank you, too.
We've been talking with Vlad Galabov of Omdia. This has been Terry Sweeney for the Dark Reading News Desk. Thanks so much for joining us for this segment. We'll see you next time.